Greetings from Cybertron. This is SoundJack. So we've been stuck inside for a while, and it looks like we're going to be stuck inside for a while longer. So I in this lockdown, I have ended up buying quite a few Transformers out of boredom and anxiety for the world outside. And I obviously not just Earthrise and other new stuff. No. A lot of it has been coming from eBay and a bunch of sales threads. So it's a lot of older Transformers and even a number of grails of mine. So in this boredom, anxiety state, I figured it might be a bit fun to share some of the new stuff I got in a kind of a top 5 video of the top 5 most insane Transformers that I've bought during lockdown, or the top 5 Transformers that I have spent with my TFCon budget during the lockdown, because there probably won't be one this year. No, scratch that last one. That might be a little too depressing. How's about we just stick with that first title, okay? Okay. The top 5 most insane Transformers I've bought during lockdown. So before we go into the actual top 5, I do have a few honorable mentions, because there have been quite a few things, and I do want to try to keep this shorter. So instead of giving them all their own proper spot, they're just going to be honorable mentions. So without further ado, here are the honorable mentions. Cybertron Dark Crumple Zone, Galaxy Force Ramble, aka Scrap Metal, Beast Wars Inferno, Transformers Collectors Club Depth Charge, Cybertron Wing Saber. So this could have easily been on the top 5 list, but I mean, I technically bought them for my birthday, so I don't feel like it counts properly towards this list, but you know what? I still bought it during the lockdown, so I at least had to mention it. So that's it with the honorable mentions. Now to get onto the list. Cybertron Nemesis Breaker. So I did have the Leo Breaker toy as a kid, but even then, I was like, what, 12 at the time? Something like that. 11, 12, yeah. It was I was very much aware that it was an awkward mold, and actually it was one of the few of my original toys from that era that I ended up breaking, partly because the instructions seemed a bit weird, where like how to plug the arms in for the combined arm mode with Optimus Prime. I like the character, but the mold hasn't had great experiences with me. But I knew I was going to get the Nemesis Breaker at some point, and I thought the colors looked pretty neat. But getting it in hand, it's just so much better than I ever could have imagined just by looking at pictures. It just brings a whole new life into this mold rather than the realistic brown. It's all this black and teal and silver, and I absolutely understand why Eric and Miguel love Nemesis Prime. Though I will say the limb mode still looks very weird. Number 4, BotCon 2007 Weird Wolf. So with my love of Transformers Cybertron, as might have been seen through a couple of the previous items on the list, I have a very strong desire to collect all of the toys from the Cybertron toy line, as well as whatever I can get my hands on of stuff that has been released after Cybertron but uses a Cybertron mold. Unfortunately, a number of them are BotCon exclusives, and I don't think that is going to be very reasonable. Anyway, there are certainly ones that are very expensive. I actually managed to get this Weird Wolf, found him for $25, and of course I was gonna get it for that price. $25 for a BotCon repaint of a deluxe toy. That's very reasonable considering how some of these go. And I mean, I found this guy before, but like he's $50 or more, so this was an amazing price I could not pass up. And you know what? The mold works really well for Weird Wolf. I even think might like it better than more than the Titans Return one for the character Weird Wolf, just because the robot mode like is just off kilter with the the beast head hand and the regular arm, so I think it just kind of helps that. And then the weird wolf colors, man, they just make this mold pop, both in robot and beast mode. And you know what? He even has a place for his unique Cyberplanet key, so I can make sure I can keep all of the accessories together and don't lose any of them. Number 3, Marine Master with Rotor Bolt. So, along with the Cybertron toys, I am also looking to collect as many of the mini-cons that I'm able to get. And, gotta catch them all, am I right? Ha ha ha, Pokeformers. To me, anything with a Minicon connector port is valid for my Minicon collection. Alrighty, 15 Minicons I don't count because they don't have the Power Links port, but I don't necessarily mean I don't want them. There's just they're nowhere near the main priority for me. Okay. It does include the Power Core Combiner Minicons, which was released 2010 abouts, if you remember those. However, a number of all the toys that were released in America were never released in Japan with as the same characters. They all got rebranded as new characters and new bots. So that means all of those minicons in the United EX line, they also count. So yeah, I figure that's going to be very hard to do. But in this case with Marine Master and Rotorbolt, I saw them for $15. And again, I'm like, that's great. Even for some minicons, that's just great. There have been minicons I have bought, and I have paid more for them than for this set. This set of 2, the minicon and his partner. It's very good. And on top of getting it for a great price, this was actually my first experience with the mold. I have a couple of the Power Core Combiners toys, namely Huffer and Smolder, but I never had the boat mold. So it was a very fun and nice way to get to play with a new mold, because sometimes the mold is just half the fun of it, and it's an experience when it's a brand new mold, but sometimes lose its flavor after getting the same mold a couple of times as different characters. But it feels really good to me to have the first taste of this mold through the Japanese version. It's a really fun robot mode, a very fun vehicle mode, great colors, and Rotorbolt actually looks like as encompasses some vehicle of some kind. Maybe more of like a Cybertronian one, but rather than like the beyond something more than just like a weapons emplacement or something. Number 2, Cybertron Defense Scattershot. Out of the various Cybertron characters I didn't get while the line was on toy shelves, one that particularly attracted my eye was the Cybertron Defense Scattershot. Why? I liked his character in the show because simply he was a smart nerd, had a hillbilly accent, and Cybertron Defense toy looked like it was so much fun with all the weapons it was for. I'm not sure if it was just the smart nerd and hillbilly thing that really got me to Scattershot. Maybe it's just because the earliest episode I can remember is the episode where Scattershot is the first Cybertronian to interact with a human outside of like the kids. So maybe that was it. But regardless, Cybertron Defense toy again looked like so much fun with all of those weapons and all those 2 key activated gimmicks. It looked great. I liked this design so much that I even mentally created a couple of OC characters that use either the body design or like the transformation scheme as their base. I have had the mold before, and I just in the last point I talked about how having a mold once can kind of ruin the feel of a mold in later runs. Didn't happen in this case because I have had this mold before, but in the form of Drop Shot, which not to diss on Drop Shot, but I've bought 2 and they both were incomplete. The first one I was able to return. Didn't realize it was missing a piece of the side of the alt mode, and the other one just doesn't have the weapon stuff. And I'm like, I'm fine. I like Drop Shot. Drop Shot, good. Drop Shot, drop shot. Hound is a zombie. Whatever. But I've never managed to get a complete one. But this Scattershot was complete. It was a great price, and the colors on Scattershot are so vibrant and great. They make it pop, just like with Weird Wolf. And not to diss on Drop Shot, they were going for military colors, real life colors for that toy. But I think it just looks so much better in blue. And before we get to number one, here's a few extra mini cons that I was really excited to get my hands on. X Dimension Land Military Micron, Universe 2003 Liftor on Refute, Commodore Energon Ramjet, etc. Cliffjumper Night Scream. Top Gear. And now, for number one. Transformers Collectors Club Nexus Prime. Honestly, this dude is the reason why I felt like I needed to make the list, because I had thought, wow, this is a crazy purchase I made. Wow, this is a crazy purchase I made. And this is like, wow, this is super crazy. I don't know if I could top this one. So yeah, this is the list. This is he is the reason for the list. I've been wanting one because I do want the primes, and Nexus Prime. I've been going back and forth of, do I want to try to track down the official Nexus Prime, or do I want to try to make a custom? Because either way, it's going to be about 300 something bucks. But I managed to find this guy for a really good price. My head, I wanted to get each of the components about $50 each, so about $250 total. Managed to find him for a bit less than that, and I'm like, whoo, okay. Don't jump into it. Let's look at it. And I interacted with the guy on the boards, and he showed me pictures, and I made sure everything was complete and good, and he was so great. Even included shipping with the price, and had insurance on it, even paid for some insurance on it. But it looks gorgeous. It was, I mean, still more than I should have spent at one time, but I didn't have that much self-control. But again, regardless, it is great. I do like the idea of the primes, and especially like the Nexus story where he was kind of revealed over a few years, even though I wasn't really aware of what was going on with that while it was happening. But like it was a really fun idea. And of course, Nexus Prime has been important in fiction technically recently with, well, his signature artifact, the Enigma of Combination, responsible for Combiner Wars and Power of the Primes and all that jazz. Well, yeah, I was going to say not jazz, but including jazz, because there was that bad toy from Power of the Primes. Off topic. I feel it was a very big missed opportunity that we never got a full Combiner toy of Nexus Prime. I thought that would have been an amazing way to bring at least this character into the mainstream, since his artifact was so integral to the plots going on. Well, it is what it is. But these molds aren't actually terrible. The Energon toys aren't that bad. Sure, you don't have like elbow articulation or really good hands or some posing, but like they're a little, after having been with Combiner Wars and having so many of the same molds to fill up combiners, it's very nice to try to experience a few new molds with some fairly different transformations to get into R mode rather than the kind of same similar pattern. It has a little uniqueness from some of the other combiners just because of how these toys transform, and like, you know, it's fun. It's different. It's new. Like I said, colors great. Each member great on their own. Combined, great. Even though you really can only get them standing in one spot. But like some of the other combiners also have really hard time balancing if they're in any other pose than a neutral pose. But yeah, still awesome looking toy for Nexus Prime. Friggin' brilliant, man. And that's my list of the most insane stuff I've bought during this lockdown. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at SoundJack426. Also, be sure to leave a comment in the description down below if you like this kind of video. I haven't been recording so many reviews and whatnot because my internet has just been real bad, and I'm trying to find videos I can make that don't require so much moving picture in it, because that definitely eats up a lot of the size. That makes up a lot of the size. So I was trying like something with more picturey to, you know, make it a smaller sized file to upload easier and be able to get more content out. So if you like this kind of content, please let me know. Leave a comment down below. Like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And with that being said, thank you for tuning in. This is SoundJack signing off.